Okay. Welcome to my new little cozy office space setup. So I have been doing a lot of work in the physical reality, improving my setup for my business, and mostly that has looked like buying a new desk. It's large, very spacious, and I have space to put my note card boxes. I have easy access to my bookshelf where I have all of the working titles that I'm currently using for my research. I have some of my auxiliary note boxes here, all sorts of different colors of pen, because that's really important. And I was doing some rearranging and I found treasure troves of old notebooks. So this one is from 2021. So this is kind of when I was in the beginning of this iteration, I guess you could say, of my magical practice and journey. It was, you know, almost 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago. Um, And I thought I would revisit some of the things that I was doing. Right at that point, I was taking a lot of classes. I was doing a lot of master classes, a lot of courses, just like learning, like constant learning. And maybe not as much practice, but I found some things that I would like to add to my living library. So this you can think of as kind of like an external brain or a second mind or a conversation partner when I am um, writing and developing my thoughts and putting ideas together. So everything is on note cards in here, and they all have a location. So I'll go into more detail about the structure of the box. Right now, I just wanted to kind of share a little bit about my process as I'm kind of going through old notebooks and putting things back in the box. Because, like, let's be honest, for the last 3.5 years, this notebook, which I bought from a creator on Etsy, and I will tag her in the description because I think she's still doing stuff like this. Wildflower Moon Magic. I can't remember her name. Lovely, lovely lady. But this notebook was just shut on a shelf. Like it was right here, right? It was within my reach, but I haven't opened it in probably 3 years, right? With the latest date. And it's probably been 3 years since I've touched this notebook, which means that none of the work, like 2022, yeah, February 2022, I closed it, put it on my shelf. So none of the ideas, none of the courses that I took, none of the connections that I can make between things that were in this period of my life are like if I'll just cut off, right? It's disembodied in a book on the shelf. It's not very magical, right? We want our knowledge to be free floating, right? Like able to come out, able to make connections with other knowledge, and able to like put this down and write. It's a brightness too. So like the cool thing about having it like this is it's almost like a tarot deck of my knowledge and my ideas and the things that I've read. So I can just flip through here and I can find things that randomly and it can surprise me, right? So like this I just found a dream customer journey, right? So that's something I haven't looked at since I wrote it, but it's right here and I can pull it out and I can revisit it. Or, I can go and I can pull out like a random, like, oh, gate 5, right? The moon is actually just moved into gate 5. So that is an example of the synchronicity that you can get with this system. Um, yeah. So this was from my notes from when I was actually writing Guide to the Gates. So this is the first draft of gate 5 for Guide to the Gates. So in any endeavor, setbacks will occur. The timing will work out in the end. You should not force it. If the vibes are off, set it aside for now and come back when it feels aligned. Learning to synchronize your efforts with the cycles of nature is a process of letting go of the need for control, and is an intuitive process, not an intellectual one. All things will work out in the end if you give it time. What? Right? My external brain, my tarot deck of thoughts, popping something up that was very synchronistic because, yeah, it's the moon literally just moved into gate 5 less than 50 minutes ago. So it's like a tarot deck on steroids. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take some time to make notes from my notebooks and install them into my boxes so that I can actually use this knowledge instead of having it be like disembodied on a shelf. And so that's what I hope for you. And that's what I want to show you how to do in this class. And I'm so excited because I know that this will unlock so many amazing things for all of us. And we can share our gifts with the world. So yeah, thanks. Okay, so here we have a little closer up. I moved the camera so that you can see what's on my desk. It's not an ideal angle. I do need to get like a desk view camera set up, and I don't have that right now. So right now you're just gonna have to deal with my like writing at an angle. So what I'm doing right now is I found this section in this notebook that is from a course that I took from a person who's actually no longer on social media, and they're actually no longer practicing magic. And they have kind of gone down the pagan to Christian pipeline, which is unfortunate. But the material that they taught, as far as I can tell, most of it is still resonantly coded. There's definitely some stuff in here that I will not be entering into my box, but a lot of it is really, really good, and I don't want to lose it. And I also think that maybe at some point in the future, I might actually teach this material with my own editions. So I'm going to add it to my box. So this was a 6-week course that was called Fundamentals of Magic. So it's basically an overview on what is magic and how to do it. And that's actually a topic that I don't really have in my box yet. You can see one of them. Okay. And I'll give an overview of this system, of course, in other videos, but right now we're focusing on adding a topic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a topic card, and I'm going to write Fundamentals of Magic. On the card. And then I'm going to go to my index box, and I'm going to see if I have a place for magic already. And so I get my index cards for M. And I actually don't have a section for magic yet, which is funny because I've got a bunch of stuff for metaphysical traditions. Okay, so actually we have magical traditions of history, and that's in the 9,000 sections. So that's in the history. But I want to have like a topic for magic in the main box, under the religion and spirituality area. So I'm going to add an entry to my index card, and then I'm going to go to my main box. I'm going to find where to put it. Okay. So this is my main box. Move this over a little bit. So again, sorry, the angle's not that great, I know. And religion and spirituality right now, I kind of have some stuff about gods, religions in the front. I have a little bit about Yahweh and Jesus, and then I have some concepts. And then I get into Christianity because a lot of my research has led me down Christianity as a concept, as a topic to study. And then I have channeled material from the raw material, concepts of like spiritual evolution, I have sections on the Kabbalah, runes, and then I get into astromancy and everything from here back, because obviously I am primarily an astromancer and scholar of astrology and human design. Everything back from here, starting at the 2500 mark, is astromancy. So I think magic should go on this side. And now I'm going to try to figure out, so we've got runes, those go under divination methods. I have a section on chakras, but this feels more fundamental, right? So we're going to look for some place. Let's see, we've got 2300s is the divination section. What is it, 2300? $2,300 is spiritual evolution. So magic feels like it is going to go in here. The one before it is 2250. So I'm going to go with 2270. Okay. So I create a new main branch, right? A new top level branch where it fits. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get a pen that I'm not using, and I stick it on my box like that. So that marks my place, so it'll stay open. That's just kind of a little hack that I discovered. Okay, so we're gonna go with 2270. So I write 2270 on my index card, and then this can go back in the index box, which I'm just gonna do on camera because I don't want to move it back over. And I'm gonna put, actually I'm gonna start a new topic card that's gonna be 2270. Magic. And I'm going to put on this topic card, which is going to be the stem, like it's like the trunk of that branch for the tree that is our knowledge system. And I'm going to put a definition on this card. So there was a good one in this course, and so I just want to see if I can find it. Magic is harnessing the power of our consciousness to manipulate our reality. I like that. I like that definition. So I'm gonna use it. That, and I'm going to credit it, and I'm going to need to put in, I'm going to need to create some sort of reference card for this course. I think I'll actually probably just make it like a bib card. I'm going to credit that off camera because I don't want to send anybody that's watching this down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out who this is from, because again, like I said, they're no longer on the path and will lead you astray if you try to go that way. So as far as I know, last I heard. So I'm gonna put that in there, and I'll make the bib card off camera. So bib cards, just as an aside, I'll explain these in another video, but these are basically cards that we make off of a book. So this is the card that I just made for the book that I just read, which is called The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross by John Allegro. And on the front, we have the citation. So if I'm going to write like a academic paper, or even if I'm just going to write a blog post, it's nice to cite our sources, right? And just some like overarching notes, either the goal for reading the book, or in this case, I wrote, well, you can certainly understand why Allegro isn't allowed near the scrolls anymore. And that's because this guy was a absolute heretic as far as Dead Sea Scrolls scholars go, but he was very, 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 very good scholarship. So That's another rabbit hole for another day. But what we have right here is an example of a bib card. So citation on the front, and then notes, like page notes, for me to be able to go back and find. Like if I know that I read something in this book, I can find it, right? Like this. And then I just go to the book and I open up that page. So that's what a bib card is. And there's actually a something off of this that I need to dig into. So I'm gonna keep that one out. So, okay, so we're in the 2270 branch. And so fundamentals of magic, this is gonna be my first stem off of that branch. So I'm gonna just write 2270/1, and it's gonna go right behind card 2270 because it's the first one in the series of magic. So on this card, I'm gonna kind of write an outline of anything from this material, right? And these are my notes. This is not the course itself. Some of it may be copied from the slides from the course, but it also has my own reflections on it. And so I'm going to go through, and I think I'm probably not going to do this on the video, but I'm going to go through and I'm going to fill out kind of an overview of the fundamentals of magic onto this card, and then I'll come back. Okay, so we're back. I had to actually jump off to do some other stuff, but now I have filled out my main card with some content. And so this is just basically kind of the overview that I wanted to put on a card. And I've also made a connection. So for this, this card is about the fundamentals of magic class and summarizing week 1. The beginning of this is the concept of reality, what we think of reality. And by that, I mean what we perceive with our 5 senses is just a small fraction of the totality of what is manifest. And so that means that like what we perceive and what we experience as quote unquote reality is actually a very, very tiny fraction of what is out there. What we consider reality is largely dominated by the external lens. And this is the view of the upper right quadrant in quadrant theory, which is from integral theory. And so this is a connection that I actually just made in here because this is from before I learned about integral theory. But I was, as I was writing this note, I remembered, hey, this is upper right quadrant. This is quadrant theory. As I pulled out the card for the 4 corners of the cosmos, or this is AKA quadrant theory. Do I need to turn on? Does that help? I can't tell. I don't think it does actually. And so this is quadrant theory, or the 4 corners of the cosmos. That is that comes to us from Ken Wilber. And so this is a concept of like having an interior view and an exterior view of things, and then there's an individual and a collective view. So you can look at things from the exterior individual or the exterior collective, interior individual, interior collective, and all 4 of these perspectives need to be considered in order to have a holistic view of any system. But the Western, quote unquote, Western science sticks right here with external behavior of like watching and observing things. There's no room for internal awareness. There's no room for intuition. So that's a connection that I made. And so I just wanted to show you that, I put a little connection link here. So when I come across this card, I will remember to look at that. So that's the main card, the first main card that I made from this notebook. And then the next thing that I did is actually I was about to go put this 4 corners card back in to this box. You can kind of see it in the corner here. I was about to go put it back in, and I decided to pull out the other ones that were behind it and just see, like, what do I have written about the 4 corners? This is exactly that point that I was just making. It says, in our society right now, at least according to the dominant worldview of materialism, only evidence from the exterior side of the cosmos is admissible. Intuitions, feelings, sensations, or anything that comes from within is dismissed. However, as we evolve into a world-spanning mind organism, the interiority will soon become the more important aspect. As we learn to think, feel, share, and act as a single organism, this will be how we communicate. And so I've got a couple of references here And this one is just mysterious. It's just a number. This one says cross-reference to the concept of the noosphere from 2802. So the noosphere comes to us from the work of Jose Arguelles. I don't know how to say his name. Jose Arguelles, who is the one who's responsible for bringing Mayan calendar and the concept of Tolkien and the Mayan philosophy back into the kind of the collective conscious. So he's brilliant mystic and philosopher. Yeah, just these are kind of the main cards that I linked when I was adding this new main card. And that's the power of this system, right? Is that it becomes cross-referenced, right? You can go back in and you can go onto now I'm going to go look up what is card 6212/1, right? Noosphere, I know what that is because it's labeled, but let's go see what 6212/1 is. So 6000 is the technology section. 6212/1. Okay, so this is a quote on information theory from gosh, what's his name? The guy who started this, the guy who modernized this system, Nicholas Luhmann. This is a main card about communication and how is information processed in systems. So it's rabbit holes, right? You can go down all these rabbit holes and find information and find surprises that you left for yourself years ago. Okay, so off camera, I just created. This was the main card that I showed you, but that just created four more main cards from my notes from this class. And now I'm going to show you how I am going to install them in my box and cross-reference. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look through anything in here that I think needs to be added to the index. And the belief loop. So this is a model that he introduced to us where it's basically a way of altering your own perception so that you have more proof of your own power. So it's basically using evidence and trusting that evidence in order to amplify your beliefs. And the more you believe, the more magical power you have, and you kind of spiral around this, becoming more and more powerful as a magician. So I'm going to add that to my index. And so I'm just going over here into my index box, which is I'm going to get the B card. And I'm going to write the belief loop. And that is card 2270/1/4. Feels like we're going to install that in the B section of my index. And I think the rest of this is generic enough that it can just fit in the magic section. So these cards, I'm going to install them behind card 2270. Which is still marked by this pen. That's kind of off camera. Now I can put these cards in here. Then I can do my bookmark because I'm not working in this section. Or maybe I will still working. It doesn't matter if I remember where they went. Okay, so that was just a little taste of my workflow, kind of my analog knowledge development and really magical practice in terms of the making connections between different things and really getting all of the things and all of the thoughts and the ideas that exist in my head in the mental plane down into 3D reality, or at least into this it's really more of a 5D space, right? Because it's more associated with the throat chakra and the connections between, it's out of this space and into this space, at least, right? And then we're working on bringing it down into the physical plane. And that's really the goal, right? That's kind of like, they're spiraling down, we're embodying. As much as we want to be ascending, right, we have to ground first. So that's kind of what I wanted to cover in this video. I did just want to film a little follow-up to it because I'm actually editing it right now over there. But I wanted to hop on and just say thank you for watching. And if you are interested in this, I'm going to have so much more content like this in the future. I don't know if it's going to be on YouTube or if it's going to be in the membership, but it will be, there will be a lot of it coming because this is the work that I'm here to do. So yeah. Can't remember if there's anything else I wanted to say. Undefined throat problems, right? Point a camera at me and I go, yeah. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.